pro wrestler. I am a sports entertainer.
What?
I'll say it again. I am a sports entertainer.
What?
I am a sports entertainer.
What's good, everyone? Welcome back to the Sports Entertainers Podcast, episode 25, the exclusive podcast for wrestling in the Rose City. For everyone in Windsor, Ontario, this is where you get all of your wrestling news, and I'm here with my co-host, the boys from Windsor, Ontario. First off, the Frostfather, Aaron Sanders. What's good, man?
Nothing much, just coming back from Sudbury, and it's safe to say that it's still a little bit colder over there than it is over here, but you know, that's the kind of sacrifices you make. See what I did there? Good to be with you guys again.
Absolutely, man. Yeah, we're going to have a lot of catching up to do. Like I said, this is an exclusive podcast for Windsor people to get caught up on wrestling, and we just had Sacrifice. Me and Kurlis Mati were there, our other co-hosts. What's good, man?
Hey, how's it going? Sacrifice was a blast. We'll get into it. We'll get into all of it. Wrestling is fun again because of The Rock, apparently.
There's a lot of things, man. What do you have to say about that, Aaron?
Well, we're on the road to Wrestlemania, so things are getting cooler, and I don't mean the weather, but I'm more interested to hear how you guys fared out in TNA Sacrifice, and I got a lot more things to say in terms of wrestling. You got to bank on this. You got to bank on this. This is going to be fun. We're in for a fun episode, and we've done 25 of these shows already, guys, so it's safe to say if you're tuning in right now, the best is yet to come, so be sure to follow your boys. Let's get cracking.
Yeah, we got lots going on, man. We're going to get all over the board today, and we'll start with TNA, something that we only really talk about, obviously, when it comes around. But it was a good show, and to get things started, actually, so me and Kurlis we went with my buddy Cam. I was going to invite him on, should have invited him on, actually. Kind of go through it. We did a little video, but first and foremost, obviously, we tried to get our names out there. We passed out some sports entertainer signs. And actually, something we didn't really talk about a lot was our initiative for this sacrifice. Everyone knows the infamous promo that Scott did at Sacrifice all those years ago. Talk about Steiner Matt. So we wanted to try to bring back Scott Steiner to TNA Sacrifice. He should be the official host or mascot, at least for this pay-per-view, every year. We passed out some "We Want Scott" signs, but they got taken away. But anyway,
it's unfortunate. I mean, all we wanted was Steiner. And we want Scott. Obviously, we want Scott. So I don't understand why they were taken away. It's kind of weird timing.
Oh, we know. It's all good. They just, just the man shutting us down again. No, not a big deal. But we had fun at their show. That's all it really was. Not a big deal. It was just trying to get our names out there. And dude, there was articles about it at least, and we weren't the only ones that brought signs for Scott. Obviously, other people did. So after that, we had a good time at the show. I mean, not everyone enjoyed the signs, obviously, and that's fine. Some people, we handed them out in the crowd and in line. And if you didn't want one, that's cool. It's not a big deal. We were just trying to feel the fire a little bit.
I mean, how can you enjoy if you can't see the signs? I mean, did you see the lighting of the pay-per-view? They didn't see the signs, Drake. They didn't see the signs.
No, damn it.
It's all good. If they saw the sports entertainers logo and the people who took our signs away, maybe they saw our logo on that. Maybe they're like, "Yo, these guys, they have fire, they have passion. We should definitely reach out to them." And the awesome Windsor Essex podcast here.
Yeah,
you never know.
These boys are loyal.
Check us out at Sports Entertainers Pod if you missed it. I mean, Aaron, like you said, to the lighting of the show. Shout out to my buddy Rob. He pointed out that there was some mishaps with the lighting, as he's a passionate guy when it comes to that stuff, but we got to see a lot of people in Windsor at the shows like we normally do. We got to see Michael Anthony Joseph, the newest promoter in wrestling here in Windsor, and our latest guest we had an interview with just after our last episode. So if anyone listening out there wants to check it out, there's wrestling coming to Leamington. We'll talk about that later on. And we got to see Michael at the show. He was enjoying himself with the rest of the crowd. And actually, on that point, I just want to say shout out to the Windsor crowd. Shout out to the Windsor wrestling family, the people that did not throw us under the bus and get us kicked out of TNA Sacrifice. Because as I've heard from people, they're like, where'd you get that from? I don't know. So shout out to all the real ones out there.
There was
Michael
a few.
was the real one.
There was a few in the crowd. There was a few in the crowd who were like, I don't know where it came from. I just had it in my hand, and I was like, oh, they're real. Even though it had a giant Sports Entertainers logo on it. Hey.
Yeah. But it's cool though. Like it is cool that they got our back. The Windsor crowd does have our back. We do know that. So yeah, I don't know. We'll talk about the show really quick to kind of just catch Aaron up. I mean, dude, they started off with Nick Namath. We thought that he would kind of be towards the end. There was not a bad match. That I did miss one match though. I went to take a piss and I missed the women's tag team match. That was it. But
that was probably the weakest match on the card.
Yeah, no doubt about it.
So you're okay.
No wonder I missed it taking a piss. So
it was short. But... It was like I think it was like 2 minutes long, and there was a title change. It was very weird. But yeah, there's a few. There honestly, like you said, I always enjoy seeing Speedball Mike Bailey, or Mike Bailey. Bailey, right? This is his last name.
Yeah, that's his name.
I just want to make sure, man. I don't watch enough TNA, but always a good time to watch him go, man. He's always fun. He's always he's always like a spectacle. Moose, obviously, very fun to watch. And they're obviously setting up Nick Nemeth and Moose. They already have that official for I think it's April 20th. Their pay-per-view then in Vegas, I think it is.
Rebellion, right?
Rebellion, yeah. So I do look forward to seeing that. Honestly, just a good top to bottom show. Didn't really have like a zinger at the end, like our the last TNA pay-per-view had, with Josh Alexander coming out after injury. The one where we were at, that was pretty fun.
Yeah,
but we didn't get that this time. It is what it is. I think not every pay-per-view is gonna have that.
Hey, it's wrestling in Windsor, man. We're gonna be there, and we're gonna take advantage. We're gonna watch.
Yeah.
Anyway, I think the best match for me was actually Nick Namath and Steve Macklin at the beginning, and again, just fun all around. From there, I don't know. You guys help me out, man. What are we here to talk about? There's so much going on. I know we kind of ran down some topics, but actually, as we're speaking, I think I can take the floor from here. As we're speaking, we're just around the corner from AEW in Toronto, so I'd like to break that down a little bit. Obviously, we're not going to be able to do that because it hasn't happened yet, but we do have boots on the ground. Our boy Rusev Crush is down there, my buddy Carlos, so he hopefully will be sending us some footage, and I am pumped for that. I'm pumped for the card tonight. We're all going to probably go watch it after, but I guess in general, we want to talk about AEW. Kurlis, you want to start us off?
AEW has a fire under them again. I feel like they've been cold for the last little bit. I don't know if you guys can agree with me on that. They've been very cold. I want to say like since World's End, and that's not taking away anything from the good things about the show. The good things are still good. The wrestling is obviously still good. Samoa Joe being champion he's a good champion, so he's a good choice for that. But I feel like the show isn't as must see as it was for the last 3 or 4 years. But now I feel like it's kind of starting to come up again. There's a lot of new debuts. We got Will Ospreay, we got Okada, we got Mercedes Mone, and bringing up Okada for a second before we get into the other two, Okada as a heel, which is very interesting with the Young Bucks. It's exciting. It's exciting times. Everything's unique and fresh again. I feel, everything gets lost in the shuffle with AEW when it comes to this time, April, with WrestleMania or March, April, when WrestleMania is around the corner. So it's a little tough for them to get out of their shadow. But Yeah, exciting times for AEW, exciting times all around for pro wrestling.
Well, as much as I usually rant on Tony Khan as to what he's doing or some, you know, bonehead decisions he would make, he did a pretty good job of signing Mercedes Mone on there, and we all saw it coming. Like when somebody comes to Boston, that's just a dead giveaway. All right, we saw that happen in Survivor Series last year or whatnot with the return of CM Punk. But getting Mercedes Mone, and I honestly thought she was going to stay with New Japan or sign some sort of contract with them. So this is huge. Now I'm wondering, okay, what is she going to do? Is she going to battle with Willow, or she's going to go straight to the top and get Little Miss Julia Hart, and they go mano a mano for the title? That's something I want to see because, and no disrespect to Julia Hart, the way she won the title, that's fantastic. But there's one thing that I have a problem with AEW is like, and you remember last year we even mentioned it's like, how far can MJF go with the world title in AEW and not make it boring? That's how I feel with the whole Julia Hart thing. So I feel like if Mercedes Moné gets put in the picture, it's going to make things all the more interesting.
I think what they need to do with Mercedes is they shouldn't fast track her like they did with a lot of wrestlers they get. I mean, there's a lot of times where they bring a wrestler in, they get to the top, and then they lose steam, right? It happens way, way, way too often. I mean, they did it with Ruby Soho. Ruby Soho came in, she fought for the women's championship, and now she's back at the bottom of the card. So it's a common thing. I want to talk about Will Ospreay a little bit before we get into the women's division. I know I'm jumping around a little bit, but they're in desperate need of a major babyface, and I think Ospreay has all the tools. I did not think he was a great promo until I heard his promo last week. As of this recording, Drake? Did he hear the promo? Will Ospreay? He did a promo on Bryan Danielson, which is going to be an insane match, by the way. And
that'll be great. Yeah.
That's going to be crazy. But he did a promo and it was very fiery, very passionate. And I think they just need a baby face, like just a as simple baby face does flips. They need that guy. And I think he'd be a good foil to Samoa Joe when it comes this time. But I mean, it might have to. You might. I just went on a rant about gradually getting there. So it might be a little bit of time before he gets to that spot. So yeah. I just went on a big rant. He's Australian. Yeah. But yeah,
it's gonna be tough.
Yeah, it's gonna be a little tough, but I'm excited for it. I'm excited for all three big signings. I think they're all major players, and I just hope they're treated like major players. And I know there was a lot of rumors about Ospreay and Okada specifically going to WWE. I feel like I don't know if they would succeed to the level they would want to in WWE personally.
Definitely not Ospreay. Maybe Okada. If
Maybe.
they did them better than Nakamura, but like they had, again, like how you're saying, they had Nakamura going this way, and then all of a sudden it was just like
I don't know.
So
They don't know what to do with their foreign wrestlers a lot of the time. I find WWE. It's very weird. So I don't know if Okada
times have changed. So
times have definitely changed. That's for sure. I say Ospreay would be thrown in the Ricochet position, in my opinion. I think it's like, oh, this guy can do flips. Let's throw him right here.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, he wouldn't be like a main attraction or whatever, like a top guy. He wouldn't be a top guy.
I do think Sasha Banks, if she did go back, I think she would be she
would have been on WrestleMania this year, like
100%. So
yeah, immediately to the top.
And she felt like a mega star. I don't know. You guys both saw the debut, I assume?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah,
she felt like a big star. She felt like a big star in a time where AEW desperately needs a top female star. There's been a void. There's been a void in that spot for the longest time. I mean, ever since I guess when Britt Baker got injured, so there isn't a top female that you can look at and be like, that's AEW's top woman. I mean, when you look at WWE, you know right away. It's Charlotte, it's Becky, it's Bianca, it's even Bailey. But with AEW, it's Britt or nobody. I mean, maybe Tony Storm. You can make an argument for Tony Storm, but they need that big mega female star, and they just need more emphasis on their women's division. I think the AEW does a lot of things right, including the tag team division and their mid card titles. But they're women. It's been a miss this whole 5 years of them doing AEW. Just they do like one women's match all night. They don't do much with these women, and they have the talent. They definitely have the talent. So I don't know. I mean, hopefully Mercedes will elevate it a little bit. Maybe shake things up a little bit, revolutionize as the buzzword they like to use when it comes to women in wrestling in both companies. I'm hopeful. I'm hopeful, and Mercedes is a big enough star for it. So,
well, isn't this like a potluck when it comes to the women's division? Like you have everybody there, but the problem is how do you fit them all within the certain times? So I'm thinking right now because again, I don't watch a lot of AEW. So what do we have so far? Mone, Willow, Britt Baker out, and then Julia Hart. And I've said Virtuoso. Thank you very much.
Mm-hmm.
It's like there are times where I'm more interested in seeing the women's division than the men's. And I hope it thrives, especially at the end of this year.
I do think they have a stacked group of women. I just think they're not using them to their full potential. I mean, yeah, like Drake said, they brought back Saraya, and that was after like them saying she would never wrestle again. And I think she's a big enough. I mean, I'm not saying she's a megastar, but she's a big enough deal where you should care about Saraya being back in the ring. And I just don't. She's just a girl on the roster, and I mean, no offense to her, I like Saraya, but it's just another woman on the roster who's just there, and she has like she might have a match on the card, she might not have a match on the card. I also feel like they need to shake things up a little bit. I mean, now they're doing a little bit of a better job with it. They got Riho. They've got Willow Nightingale in those main event slots. I mean, that's cool. But when you have this big of a roster, and I think this is an AEW problem in general, but when you have this big of a roster, cycle through who you've got. Make it interesting. So, yeah. That's my big rant.
It feels like for 2 weeks they'll feature on one group like with Riho or Soho or whatnot. Sorry. And then the other week they'll just focus on Hart or Saraya or whatnot. And it's like, well, who do you want to cover on the third week? Because it's like how many women's wrestlers they have on the roster right now? Like 30 or 40? And only a quarter of them are being used?
Too much, and I like Sky Blue, but too much Sky Blue. Like it's always Sky Blue, Tony Storm, Sky Blue, Tony Storm, and you've got this robust roster. Use them all. So I'm hoping with Mercedes and with the return of Thunder Rosa recently as well, and Britt Baker's imminent return as well. I'm assuming she's coming back soon. They need those women back. Jamie Hayter as well. I mean, whoever's still on the shelf, shake it up. Shake it up. That's all I got to say about that.
But then again, that's going to come back to the problem of there's too much talent in that women's division. You're trying to give them as much time as possible, but when you add the wrestlers that are sidelined with injuries back into it, we are square one again.
But what I'm trying to say is instead of having one match and one backstage promo, maybe spread it out, have 2 matches and have an in-ring promo, just have more attention put as much attention to your women's division as much as your tag division. That's how I see it. Because, I mean, their tag division's pretty decent, I think. They have a pretty decent tag division. I think it's better than the WWE's tag division. I think they put more emphasis on that. I feel like the AEW tag belts are the tag belts to want to strive for in comparison to the undisputed tag belts in the WWE. Which also, could we talk about that briefly? why are they still holding both belts, Finn Balor and Damian Priest? Why do they have the Raw and SmackDown belts? Why don't they just merge them like they did with the Universal title?
I feel like it's a
still
preference.
There's still two separate belts. The
I don't know.
Universal and WWE Championship are still in existence. That's just Roman's belt. So they can make their own belts, but technically they have not been unified.
Really?
Yet. Not officially.
Oh, I mean, when you go on the website, it still has both belts, right? Yeah.
Exactly. That is our official Bible. That, like, when the WWE 24/7 title was retired, it was officially confirmed on WWE.com.
So does this mean that Roman hasn't been WWE champion for 1,000 and X amount of days? He's only been Universal champion. Yeah,
absolutely. There's like a Lisa Simpson where she's like walking out with the screen behind her. There's a meme like that. It's like he's only held the Universal title for 1,500 days. He's held the WWE title for what, 2 years? This WrestleMania, he won it from Brock.
Yes.
At 22 in WrestleMania 38 in 2022.
Yeah, which was a lame main event.
The blue one. The blue one.
Yeah, the blue Universal. The blue Universal belt.
The blue WrestleMania. It was. I think it might have been at Texas again. But anyway, yeah, it was. What were we talking about?
The belts.
No, yeah, he's not beating. Speaking of belts, that's why I keep looking at my phone. I'm waiting for that belt to arrive. It's supposed to arrive tomorrow. So.
Oh, goody.
Well, yeah, I'll be showcasing that for sure. But yeah, no, he's. Yeah, I don't know if they're gonna spin it that way. I don't know if they're really gonna spin it that way, but we can't be that dumb. Come on.
Because they're gonna say, oh, he beat. Okay, so if for whatever reason Cody doesn't finish the story, they're gonna be like, oh, he beat Hulk Hogan's record. Well, technically, no, he did not. This is not the same belt.
It's a heavy or a world championship or whatever, but it's not the WWE championship.
No. So
it's like same level as like the world heavyweight title or whatever, but
okay. So here's my like rebuttal to that. If Cody wins, I know it's Roman's belt, but at the same time, if Cody wins, he's not gonna hold the two stupid belts again.
Oh, that's what I mean. They might as well just say they're unified now. But I don't think that they want, like, then they would, like, technically they have 3 major championships.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
They do.
I think we've talked about this before too. Like I thought they were gonna do it at WrestleMania last year or the year before that, and like I thought that would have been it. And still to this day, technically the Universal title is still active, even though it's the stupidest title they've ever had.
Still a dumpster fire.
The Universal title has had one good champion, and that was Roman Reigns, and in this run, and that's it.
Or Brock Lesnar held it for 500 days, but he didn't even defend it. Just like Roman didn't barely defended it this time. He did at first, but obviously.
No, I have to give it pre 2024 Roman was pretty good. I will say. I think it's just run its course. That's all it is. I think it's just run its course.
Oh yeah, it's always been good. I'm just saying, like, he hasn't been defending the title in the same sense that Brock Lesnar wasn't defending the title.
Yeah. He just feels like another
defending. You look at the longest reigning WWE champions like San Martino and Hogan. Roman has the least title defenses out of all of them. Looking at a stat earlier, about over 50 compared to Hogan's 480 matches for the title.
Rock has been on TV more times this year than Roman Reigns.
Has he actually? Is that a stat?
It's a stat. Only one more time. But he's been on TV 6 times, and Roman has been on TV 5. I think they must have all been together pretty much, except for at the beginning.
So, I'm circling back to like the belt situation. Do you think they end up splitting the Raw and SmackDown belts then, or do you think they're just going to end up unifying those as well? Like, the tag team belts? I think it's stupid that there's a blue one and the belt designs in general can, like, the colored belts. I hate them. I've never liked them.
They redid every belt except for the tag team ones.
What is it? Sorry.
They've redone every belt in the last like 2 or 3 years except for the tags.
Yeah, I don't get it. Maybe they're just
People
not
got Spartan heads, man.
the pennies. Do you remember the pennies when they first came out?
Yeah, terrible.
God.
They were terrible. Yeah. Yeah. One day
Bret
we'll
Hart
talk about
came out
worst
with
belts.
those. And I'm like, what the hell is that?
Yeah. Actually, we talked a little bit about Rock and Roman. I saw a thing. Well, I mean, I'm seeing a lot of discourse online about. Do you guys think Rock is taking Roman's spotlight a little bit on terms of Roman Reigns is getting overshadowed a little bit, maybe?
Definitely.
Yeah.
I mean, if you look on social media,
Who is the tribal
his
chief?
segments have like the most likes and most views
Mhm.
in the last year or so that the Bloodline has had. But when you have a big guy like The Rock, actor, owner of the XFL or whatever the hell, that's going to attract a lot of eyes in social media. And plus, his promos is what people missed, especially a big time superstar from the Attitude Era. And when they come back and they make a huge difference like that, absolutely. Because what does Roman do? All Roman does is stone face, acknowledge me. For The Rock, you give him the mic, he'll go on and give you a story to tell for ages. Especially his Gucci shirts too. I'm trying to look for one of those, by the way.
Hey, I'm not going to take anything away from Roman's promo
Versace.
ability. Roman was holding, especially the pandemic era, like afloat. He's a very good promo. He's still
Yeah,
very
got a
good
lot
promo.
better. Yeah,
He
he's gotten
did.
so much better.
When I listen to Roman Reigns, like I believe it, and I believe it because he believes it, and that was the thing he was missing before he turned heel. He's such
believe that.
believe that suffering
that.
succotash.
But he is good at like selling and shit. Like he's really good seller. He's good at like his facial expressions and shit in the ring and in promos and stuff.
Roman's great.
Yeah, not as much again in the suffer and succotash era, but then somewhere down the line, pretty much like it was just a flick of a switch when he came back in the pandemic era, and won the title. Ever since then, he's been fantastic. But before that, yeah, I don't know. It wasn't not fantastic.
I heard he took acting lessons during that time off when he was,
Good. To go back to our lights, camera, action episode, that's what like every wrestler should be able to act a little bit, right? So like they should be okay in TV. That's one of the topics that came up, obviously. So go back and listen to that one.
Yeah, we should. Yeah, definitely go back. That's a good one. I'm pretty proud of that one. Actually, on the topic of suffering succotash, did you guys see Diarrhea Dwayne from Seth Rollins? Oof, brutal.
No.
Brutal. He tried. What's it called?
Tried roasting him on Twitter.
Yeah, he roasted him on Raw, and it was a promo he did, and he was like, "Oh, like if I'm this Rock, then you're Diarrhea Dwayne," and it was lame.
I seen him say that on Raw. Yeah, it was lame. Yeah,
it's lame. Okay, you got this guy who is. I mean, Rock he's doing such a fantastic job as a heel, and he knows exactly what to say, exactly the emotional points to poke at. And then you get Seth Rollins, and he's just childish insults like that, and it doesn't do Seth Rollins justice as a guy who's as important as Cody, Roman, and The Rock. I even noticed sometimes they forget to reference Seth Rollins as the World Heavyweight Champion. They keep forgetting. Like it's not that they keep forgetting, but it's like they're actively making him less important than in this whole situation here, and I just don't like it. I don't like how they've treated Seth in the build.
He is less important than that.
In a sense, but I mean,
like everyone can't be better than everybody. Like
of course,
but top dog.
Of course. I mean, there's always going to be a secondary.
They're gonna lose. They're gonna lose at WrestleMania, right? Like that's basically what they're saying. Unless they win, then that's an underdog upset, and that's a surprise.
Well, what does it say about the World Heavyweight Championship that you just established? That we assume Seth is probably gonna eat the pin, right? What does that say about that belt? Okay. What does that like? It just makes it look phony.
If we can only assume that Drew's gonna take it off. Drew's going to take it, and then he will elevate the belt. They can always make that come back. They can always circle that back around.
I mean, I'm glad to see Seth is even involved in the main event program. It makes me happy that he's important enough in that sense. But
yeah,
you should still treat him.
They're all relevant.
Oh, 100%, all four of them.
And Drew McIntyre too. Like, it's cool how like that's all mixed in. Like like Drew, like I'm sure you'll see him on Saturday night, and like the ties in with everything and everyone is really cool right now. That's the best thing that like WWE's doing, is intertwining all their storylines.
That was a problem they had back in the day, where they were not intertwining their stories. They were all on separate islands. You know, the IC belt was on a separate island compared to the World Championship, and they were all on separate. Now it's all coming together. You know, CM Punk, Drew McIntyre, Seth Rollins, Cody Rhodes, they're all like connected in some way. The bloodline, Jey Uso's getting involved with Cody Rhodes' stuff because Jimmy Uso is feuding with Jey Uso. Like, it's all kind of coming together. And that's kind of cool because we never saw that maybe 5 years ago.
No, dude, that's really perfect. Cool. I've got to find it. There's an episode of SmackDown, I think, and it's from like late 90s, early 2000s, where like the whole show, like the backstage segments, like crossover and transition to the next storyline, kind of like Jackie Brown. You guys ever see Jackie Brown?
Oh, I like Jackie Brown. Yeah, it's a good one.
It's kind of like that. Like, it's like, you know, there's a promo going on here between Chris Jericho and whatever, and then like they storm off, and someone else comes into the frame, and then it follows that storyline into whatever. It's like, and the whole episode of SmackDown's like that. It's pretty wicked. And it was just like a one-off.
It reminds
thing,
me of the West Wing.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And like, or like WrestleMania 18, like it was the hardcore match. It went throughout the entire pay-per-view. Like it might have opened it as like the second match, and then like throughout the night they just kept going back to that match, and the title would change hands. Continuity, man. It's awesome.
I actually just saw a retrospective of WrestleMania 18 like not too long ago, like a couple minutes ago, before getting on.
Yeah, it was just it was on St. Patrick's Day when it happened, so
wow.
The anniversary just passed. Yeah. Must have been a crazy WrestleMania in Toronto on St. Patrick's Day.
Lucky.
I couldn't even imagine. Yeah. I mean, on that topic of WrestleMania 18, I'm gonna try to like cross over this topic, but that the heat for that Rock, Roman, Cody, Seth match, like the pop and all the crowd reactions are going to be insane. That's going to be, I mean, like you said, they're all hot. I mean, Seth Rollins has the big sing along. Cody Rhodes has the whoa. Rock is the Rock. Roman Reigns has been the longest reigning champion in God knows how long. It's going to be good. It's going to be 1,500 days, man.
Something like that.
And all of this to say, I mean, it probably, like, the Cody Roman thing should have ended last year, obviously, but hey, we're getting some good content out of it, at the very least. We'll see how it goes. I don't see Cody losing, but we said that last year.
Yeah. I still got money, I still got money on Cody because it takes so long before a story gets boring. It's like, it's gotta end. It's gotta end in WrestleMania. While on the topic of WrestleMania, I'm still going to say my boy Drew McIntyre is finally going to get his WrestleMania moment in front of the crowd. He got screwed over of it with the pandemic 4 years ago, and it felt stale, and he wasn't a good champion, but I think he could be a good world heavyweight champion in the months to come, only for Mr. CM Punk to come back and try to challenge him for it. So we could say, I've said this for years, it's every WrestleMania that comes up afterwards is going to be the best one, but I think this is going to be huge. And folks, you heard what Kurlis said earlier, like the heat of this whole arc it's going to be dynamic. You're going to feel it from your TV screens. You're going to feel it on your tablets and whatnot. Oh, and I was one of those guys that a few years ago, I was against the 2-night WrestleMania, but now I'm interested into it. It's because of stuff like this.
They did it so perfect.
Mm-hmm.
They really made chicken salad out of chicken shit, as they say.
Yeah, it could have went terribly. We were all anticipating a Rock vs. Roman.
For a brief moment there, it was It was like, oh no.
Uh, on the topic of Drew's doing some of his best work right now. I honestly, I've never been this entertained by the guy. He's so much fun.
Yeah,
His
not
heel,
since he won the WWE Championship the first
yeah,
time, and he again got screwed by the pandemic.
he's so funny. I want that CM Punk shirt that he has, the one where he's at the grave
Oh,
and
that.
yeah.
Yes.
Oh no, he has
Is
that
it-
one too, where it's
Yeah.
like he has like the checklist of things he has to do, and it's like the first one was like injure CM Punk, go to WrestleMania. Like it's so cool. But I like the one with the grave where he's like sitting beside CM Punk's WrestleMania moment grave. It's so funny.
Yeah, yeah.
I want
That's
it.
fun.
I want it. I mean, we've already talked enough about wrestling merch, but that's one of the better ones. That one's pretty funny.
Yeah, it's
You
funny.
know
I
what's
want to get it
interesting?
framed.
Oh yeah. What's interesting is that he went from the Scottish psychopath to somebody that's making it perfectly clear to make CM Punk's name into mud. And I had a great conversation with a friend of mine a couple of nights ago about this whole Drew McIntyre thing. And Derek, if you're tuning in, you know what's good. He said you got to make sure Drew McIntyre's character is perfect and it doesn't go into that stereotype of being Scottish and whatnot. And they're doing exactly that with McIntyre. Now, normally I would see some cheap name drops or some pokes at a bear in AEW, but the way McIntyre's been doing it lately, well, it's pretty spot on. It's going to pay off in the end, isn't it? I feel like once CM Punk is healed from his injury, which I would imagine, he's a few months away still, you could just culminate into something big come summertime. Punk and McIntyre, chef's kiss. I'm just looking forward to it.
Oh yeah.
As an impatient guy, he's planting the seeds into something big with CM Punk. And nobody could doubt me on that.
I hope Drew comes back with Broken Dreams at some point. I love that song.
Yeah,
That's a
that is
really
so
good
That was
theme.
my jam, bro.
Yeah, that's a really good theme.
That's a good one. Yeah.
You want to know something? When they came out with SmackDown vs. Raw 2010, that was a few months after McIntyre came into the WWE, but they didn't put him on time. I remember the Create a Wrestler mode. It made him, and they didn't have his theme song, obviously, so the closest one I found was the old ECW theme, and I made his character to a T, and then I realized, well, if I put SmackDown vs. Raw and connect it to my VCR, I could put my iPod into there and play the music as he's walking down the entrance. It's one of the coolest things ever. And I kid you not, I got Broken Dreams on my phone, and I would play it on loop whether if I'm working out and whatnot.
So
Yeah,
you
it's a good
talked about SmackDown vs. Raw 2010. Look who's
There we go.
on the
Wii?
Wii.
Oh my god.
Yeah, on the
Yep,
Wii.
that's the very one, Kurlis.
You know, this was actually a good version of the game, Drake. Don't judge it. It was
What?
just
It was the last best
How do you
SmackDown
play
vs.
it?
Raw.
No. There was no motion control. There was no motion control. It was just button controls. Actually, 09 had motion controls, and 09, you could
They don't speak
what's it
about
called?
that one.
No. You can move during the entrances. You can control what the entrances do, and like by shaking the Wii remote. And what's it called? That would dictate your momentum going into the match. So you would have
I
like your
saw that.
finisher. Yeah. It was pretty fun, actually.
Like
I
the
don't know. Maybe
Ultimate
it's
Warrior
did
coming
that-
out every time.
oh yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe it's nostalgia, but I do enjoy the Wii SmackDown vs. Raw games.
Dude, I
think
did
they all
that
have
with The
terrible
Undertaker
reviews.
in 09. Corniest shit ever. With The Undertaker giving the crowd high fives and whatnot. I'm like,
Yeah.
this is weird. This is not The Undertaker, man.
Have you guys played the new game yet?
No.
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 It does look good. It does look good. I will
yeah.
probably wait. I'm not paying $90 for it, but it does look good. I'll probably
Wait a minute. Did it come out before Survivor Series?
No, it just came out.
No.
It came out.
Oh,
it
crap.
it came out
March
March 8th.
then.
Yeah, I just got 23 not too long ago.
Yeah, those games, they go on sale really fast, and there's no need to buy them right away. They're fun though. I mean, wrestling games are always fun. I do enjoy them. I do enjoy them.
Universe, they have GM mode. GM mode's dope.
I'm excited for special guest referee mode. The three of us playing that would be a blast. One of us being the referee, and then a match happening in the middle. Oof, it'd be intense.
You know, this should be a future episode. Favorite wrestling video games. Do a little segment on that because I know a lot of people, they grew up in either WrestleMania, the arcade game. I remember, when I got SmackDown versus Raw 10, I remember GameStop. They still had Nintendo 64 games, and I bought WWF Attitude. Spent the whole summer playing that with my brother. It was nice to go from the blocky graphics to just playing on the Wii. It was flat out nuts, but the nostalgia factor was there. Incredible.
Do you guys remember Make Your Own Story mode? I don't know why they got rid of that. I don't know why they got rid of that because it was so much fun. It was so much fun. I honestly, we could talk about video games right now for a little bit. SmackDown 08, 09, 2010, those were the ones I played the most. 08 on the PSP, 09 and 10, Sue Me Drake on Wii. and then and then one of my buddies back in high school lent me WWE 2012, and he was like, I don't even like wrestling, I just have this game. And then I was like, okay, sounds good. And he never took it back. He didn't want it back. I tried giving it back to him, and he's like, no, Kurlis, you can have it. So I was like, all right, so now I have WWE 12. So that's when I actually stopped buying them.
Oh, so 12 has a great storyline.
12 does have a good one. Yeah.
With like the UK, the United Kingdom, and like the WCW thing, and then Jacob Cass.
Yeah. Yeah, 12 was fun.
It's like 3 different stories. It's good.
Yeah. No, that's when I kind of checked out of wrestling video games. I still play them.
Oh, that's when I got into it. I got every single one from 12 till now, except for 20.
Oh, yeah?
2K20.
20 was
didn't
bad.
make one. Yeah, I know. I'm glad I didn't buy it. I just started phasing out of playing games at that time. It didn't do 21, and then I bought 22 for like $20 or something.
21 never happened.
Yeah, I know. 21, that's why I said that.
Yeah, just never happened. Oh,
yeah, I know.
How did you? Oh, actually, you know what? How does Fight Forever hold up? Because you're the only one who has it. AEW Fight Forever.
That's okay. It's okay. I don't really play it.
when the three of us played it, it was pretty fun. But I could tell it had a shelf life. There wasn't that much content, and their roster is really outdated. I mean, they have like rocker Tony Storm in there. They don't even have timeless Tony Storm in there. They still have like Cody Rhodes in there for some reason. Jade Cargill's on the cover. It's very outdated for a game that just came out.
Yeah, if they keep like updating it because they like added a new match type and stuff, that'd be cool.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's pretty disappointing in my opinion. I wanted to love it. I wanted the first AEW game to be great, but it is what it is, I guess. I mean, we can still
feel like it was TNA Impact from back in the day, because I remember that game sucked a little bit.
No, that one was sick, dude. What are you saying? That one is sick. That one's like a Marvel.
Just couldn't get into it.
It's a Marvel game, and that's what introduced Suicide, the wrestler, and it was that one's awesome. It's literally made by Marvel. It's so fun.
Have you guys played WWE All Stars? Where they're like super jacked, like, oh man, that game's fun.
WWE Crush Hour.
Oh, dear God. Monster Truck one?
I'm trying to look for it right now.
Yeah. For PS2, I got it if you want it.
Ooh.
I spent days in Game Cycle looking for that, because they had Day of Reckoning, and they had WrestleMania 18 and Raw and Raw 2 for the Xbox, and that's the only game I haven't seen from WWE yet. They have everything else but that one.
I think wrestling games should be more crazy and arcadey. The more arcadey, the better. I don't really care for the sim games. They're fun. I like them still, but if they can have a balance of both, more like WWE All Stars, more like WrestleMania for the Super Nintendo or the arcade version or whatever. I really like that game. I don't know, Aaron, you mentioned it. Really fun. I could play that all day. But make it more arcadey. I'm all for it. Did you hear about that RPG, the wrestling RPG? I don't know if you guys play RPGs, but essentially, like, you level up and, turn-based, kind of like Pokemon, but with wrestlers. And there's actual wrestlers in it.
No, but Virtual Basement was supposed to make a wrestling game. They're trying to make it for years. And it's got like a sick roster. I'm pulling it up right now. It's got like Kurt Angle in it. It's got Alex Shelley. It's got like indie guys. So it's got like Alex Shelley. It's got Brian Cage. It's got the Bushwhackers. It's got Buff Bagwell. It's like super random, and it looks really good. Like this DDP, EC3, Eric Rowan.
Oh
like,
wow!
He's been in development for like 10 years. Yeah, Kurt Angle, Lance Storm. Yeah, look it up. It looks pretty sweet.
No, that does sound pretty sweet. I'm all for it, man. Anything like wrestling related. It doesn't have to be the status quo wrestling game, you know. I mean, yeah. Okay, so by the way, that RPG, it's called WrestleQuest, and it has Randy Savage in it. It's kind of their whole thing is that they got Randy Savage somehow.
Yeah.
The likeness.
Incidentally, speaking of Savage, you know WWE All Stars was the last time he worked with WWE. He did some sort, well, not with WWE, but he did some sort of promo before he tragically passed away. And that promo was up on YouTube. I'm like, wow, this dude still got it. And he's at 60-something at the time. So I guess the producers of WWE All Star came to him and said, hey, can you do a promo for us? So it's not in relation to WWE, but the fact that you had Macho Man in some sort of product like that again for one last time. Oh man. Talk about goosebumps.
But All Stars, didn't it come out in 2011? Was this recorded before?
This was recorded right before his death. So,
didn't Savage?
That's when he died.
Was it
2011?
I thought it was earlier than that for some reason.
2011.
Wow, I thought it was way earlier than that. I don't know why. I thought it was like 2006. Maybe I'm thinking of someone else.
No.
Oh no.
Yeah, definitely someone else.
Yeah. All Stars is great though. I was always hoping for an All Stars too. I was always hoping for one, but
yeah, they can do some more wacky games like that. I'd be interested.
I'd be for it. Anyway, want to wrap?
We should start to wrap it up. As we speak, we're getting close to AEW times, so we want to get in front of our television sets. If you're sitting down, taking a walk, whatever you're doing, if you got some headphones in your ears, thank you for listening to us. However you do listen to it, it's available on Spotify, everywhere podcasts are found. We are the Sports Entertainers Podcast. Drake Demore, Aaron Sanders, Kurlis Mati. Pretty much every other week, we come to you and break down as much wrestling news as possible. We're from right here in Windsor, Ontario. And if you want to check out more stuff that we do, check us out on social media at Sports Entertainers Pod, everywhere, anywhere you can find us. We got a YouTube channel. Check out some exclusive videos, blogs, interviews on there as well. And you can check out what we did at TNA Sacrifice, as we talked about at the beginning of the show. For Aaron Sanders and Kurlis Mati, my name is Drake Demore, and we'll be back right before WrestleMania to give our predictions, break down as much as we want about the biggest show of the year. Until then, smell you later.
We want Scott Steiner.
FSS for Scott's sake. For your damn soul.